Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. It's a special Thanksgiving Day celebration episode for us, and if you haven't seen the highlights from Monday's game of my team that I coach, check it out on the link above because it was a great game and my point guard Isaiah Rodgers lit him up for 31 points and 5 assists. So, let's talk about the Celtics versus the Spurs from last night. Tiago Splitter is the story of the night on this game, and when he can play defense like he does, and he can also score, there isn't much answer you have against the Spurs. They're going to be too tough with all their other terrific players playing the system that they play. The Celtics are, on the other hand, having some issues with their bench. Jeff Green again catches my ire because his footwork is terrible. His defensive positioning is clueless at best many times. So I'll show you what I'm seeing from him, and it really just frustrates the heck out of me. Don't forget, we're going to have our FN Fantasy Show tomorrow, special Friday night edition. So if you want to win your fantasy league, you better get over and watch that show. Tiago Splitter benefits almost exclusively by the way the Spurs run their system. Watch how Kevin Garnett should be containing the sideline screen and roll. He gets out of position, that forces Sullinger to come over off of his man, and that lets Manu hit Diaw, who then hits Tiago Splitter with a beautiful finish. The Spurs are awesome at coming down quickly with a screen and roll and attacking right away, and watch Jeff Green standing flat-footed, not rotating over, and there's Splitter benefiting. Boston didn't do a great job communicating, and here Wilcox needs to call out the back screen to Terry. They get the cut, but they rotate over nicely even though they missed Splitter on that first cut. Here they get back in position, but they should be higher here and containing the sideline screen and roll. That forces Brandon Bass to have to help out, and he can't guard two men. The Spurs were able to get the Celtics to rotate all night. Tony Parker with the old pro trick of stepping on Terry's foot to make him fall down. And look how confident Splitter is now against KG, doing a nice move and getting fouled. And if you just watch how the Spurs run their offense, they were continually getting the Celtics out of position, having to rotate, and that caused problems with closing out and matchups. And here you'll see when the ball rotates over to Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett does a very bad job closing out and gives up middle penetration. Paul Pierce has to stay at home on Splitter and doesn't. They give up a layup. Let's move on to Rondo, because not enough is said about how important it is to be able to hit a guy in rhythm on the numbers, and that's why Jason Terry is shooting the second highest percentage of his career. These are all exactly the same sets they used to run with Ray Allen, and now Jason Terry is filling in that role very well, and Rondo is setting him up. Even though teams like to give Rondo the outside shot, he still commands so much attention out there. Here, Blair has to see that Tim Duncan is down there to help and shouldn't get separation on KG. Instead, he helps too much. KG gets a beautiful pass by Rondo, all net. Rondo is most dangerous in the open court because he's fast and he can see the floor. Here we have two of the oldest guys running the floor, and it's not even clear who's going to get there first. The Celtics have a standing order. If the shot clock gets below 10, they simply have to run and screen for Rondo, and here almost the entire team does that, and he hits Baz beautifully on a nice cross-court pass for an open jumper. Here's a great set they've been running for a long time where Pierce gets a curl screen and then that becomes a screen and roll. They're already out of position, and there's Wilcox back screening, and Rondo hits him on the numbers. And here's the same exact play, only this time when he penetrates, he forces Tony Parker to help out one pass away, which he shouldn't do, and that opens up Courtney Lee for a one-dribble pull-up and an assist for Rondo. Here's what appears to be a simple screen and roll on the left side, but there's this weak side action going on that occupies the defense that will allow Rondo to throw a great pass that not many other point guards can do. And here's a play the Spurs have been running for years, a zipper cut and around the world triple screen for Tony Parker, defended well by Boston except for Wilcox, who's stuck on the high side, effectively being a screen, and there goes Parker. Rondo isn't perfect, mind you. He does get stuck up in the air sometimes, having to throw tough passes. And if you do that against the Spurs, watch out. Tony Parker comes right down with a beautiful floater. Every young player needs to learn that shot. And on another turnover by Rondo on an incredible steal by Manu Ginobili, they come down so fast that Pierce has to pick up Parker, a mismatch, and watch this beautiful step back in the lane for the jumper. It's time to criticize Jeff Green again, folks. Here he posts up and gets terrible position at the three-point line and then does a one-on-one ISO. This is not his game. Rondo goes for the rebound inexplicably, and that leaves him out of position and forces Jeff Green, of all people, to have to pick up Tony Parker. The Spurs break back into their offense, but it doesn't take them long to realize the mismatch. So Splitter will get the ball to Parker on the perimeter against Green, and he breaks him down with a simple crossover pull-up. Everyone is setting a double ball screen now, and what it does is it pulls out the big men away from the basket. And here you'll see how much space it clears for Tony Parker. Watch how he gets into the body of KG to finish. Beautiful. And if you want to take a quick three with no offensive rebounding, do so at your own peril. Because here comes Tony Parker. They don't have good help by Paul Pierce, and he blows by Rondo for the layup. When guarding Parker, you have to contain him, and the more you try and engage, especially in the backcourt like Jeff Green does, getting way out of position, the worse you're going to be. KG doesn't know where the ball is, though, and there's no help. Layup. Here's another Jeff Green weak finish at the basket. I mean, Duncan is a nice block, but he's got to finish stronger than this. And if you do that against the Spurs, forget about it. Here comes Tony Parker with a beautiful teardrop. And his jump shot is so improved now that even when you do a great job defending the screen and roll, he can still pull up and just nail that 16-footer. And here's why Jeff Green makes me crazy. It's his footwork. First he travels when he catches it, but they don't call it. Then he goes off the right foot but shoots with the right hand. And that gets a foul and one, and Popovich gets a tee. But that technical sparked the Spurs, and here's where the wheels fell off for the Celtics at the end of the third. Jeff Green is way late rotating over on the screen and roll help, and Splitter does hit a tough shot though. And Splitter was doing a terrific job down low on defense. Here KG has to work really hard to catch the ball way out farther than he wants to and take a tough shot that goes in, but that's going to wear you out. And here's a screwy lineup by the Celtics with Lee, Rondo, and Barbosa, forcing Manu to guard Rondo. But watch the old trick he does with a little push there. Beautiful position by Splitter, and it's an offensive charge and a turnover. With this same weird lineup, they want to attack with Barbosa out on top, but now you have two really bad three-point shooters in the corner in Rondo and Lee, and Manu says gracias for that Rondo shot. Watch Jeff Green completely fall asleep on the weak side, giving up such deep post position, it's virtually impossible to stop that nice finish by Manu. More great defense by Splitter on this block of Sullinger, and on the way down, Rondo is going to take himself out of the play by half-heartedly going for a steal. He should have sprinted back and taken away that pass. Okay, big mistake by Doc Rivers with his lineup because they need a basket in the worst way here, and they don't really have a great offensive team. So Jeff Green gets the ball on top and jumps off the right foot, tries to shoot with the right hand, and Boris Diaw of all people blocks it. So Doc Rivers gets KG back in there for a little bit more offense, but watch how the discipline of the defense in the Spurs helps them. Here you'll see the weak side guys step over but stay home on their men, and there's Splitter again with a great pressure, and Gary Neal, tough as nails, clutch three. Remember how I said Splitter is going to wear KG out? Watch how he continually bangs on him, keeps a body on him, doesn't let him get comfortable or catch the ball exactly where he wants. So when he gets this shot off, it's a little bit farther than he wants, and it just rims out. And Manu isn't perfect. He tries to throw a jump pass over KG cross court that gets tipped and stolen, and then in transition, he's the one who's supposed to pick up Barbosa. Nobody picks him up, and he gets a layup. Here's the play they've been running for years. A shallow cut swing, then they do a cross screen for the post, get great position down there. Then they'll screen the cross screener who comes around. There's Neal on a beautiful step back runner. And Splitter just kept playing terrific basketball all night long, containing Barbosa, forcing a tough miss, and then sprinting the floor and getting the pass and one finish. Just a great game. More great offense by the Spurs and not so great defense by the Celtics. On the screen and roll, they should be forcing to the baseline here. Instead, they let dribble penetration to the middle, and now Jeff Green's got to guard two men. They make an easy pass to the high post, low, dunk. And not only was Splitter abusing KG on the defensive end, he now has enough confidence offensively to break him down off the dribble. 2 free throws, game over. So there you have it, sports fans. A very, very impressive win by the Spurs. And they pretty much took them out of the game by the middle of the fourth quarter. And when you can do that in Boston, that's a sign of a really good team. Doc Rivers has his work cut out for him because he needs to figure out how to make these lineups work better, because when it goes to the bench, there are too many times when they don't have enough threat on offense. And then you throw guys like Jeff Green out there who don't really know positional defense, and Wilcox isn't much better at it, and they're going to be at a deficit when they go to their bench. Well, don't forget our FN Fantasy Show is tomorrow night. I'll tweet out the time on Twitter, so make sure you follow us at B-Ball Source because we have a great conversation all day long about basketball. Why wouldn't you join us? So don't forget at B-Ball Breakdown, it's not a channel, it's a conversation. You in?